The health of our children is declining. There's no disputing that. And one of the areas that really needs to be focused on is what children are eating in school. It's really simple. One woman who's taking on this battle is Maria Solanki. Maria is a local business owner and education advocate. She is running for the school board in Pinellas County in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Maria is committed to raising awareness around the foods that are being fed to our children in schools, what it's doing to their health, what it's doing to their attention, and their learning abilities. So stick around. You're in for quite a treat as I talk with Maria Solanki.
Are you ready to live the life you deserve? Do you want to feel vibrantly healthy and reach your optimal weight without dieting while being kind to animals and the planet? Then you're in the right place at the right time. Get ready to hear from doctors, nutritionists, experts, and everyday men and women committed to creating a powerful life in mind, body, and soul through ethical food choices. Welcome to Plant-Based Eating for Health with your host, certified plant-based nutritionist, Kathleen Gage.
Well, Maria, I am really excited to talk to you about your campaign, about not only your political campaign, but your campaign for schools. And let's start with you're running for the school board. What area of the country are you running for the school board in?
This is in St. Pete, Florida. It's Pinellas County School Board, District 7.
What made you decide to run for the school board?
Well, I really felt a calling to do this. Several years ago, I started on a charter school application, and this was to create the first plant-based public school. And they denied our application. I mean, this is a 500-page application, took years of research. And some of the reasons were valid, and some of the reasons were just, they were against school choice and against the plant-based nutrition. Then I got all these petitions signed to, ask for meatless Mondays. They did nothing for that. I'd go to the school board meetings and talk about the benefits of having more fruits, more vegetables, changing the meal program. And they would say, it's a great idea, but nothing happened. And then at a certain point, I'm like, now you're going to lose your seat. All right, now I'm going to run and you're going to lose your seat. And that's how it got to this point.
And how long ago did you start this whole campaign, not the political campaign, but the campaign to get more fruits and vegetables in the choices for students, the Meatless Monday? When did that all start?
Well, it's kind of all evolved in different phases. I mean, I started talking at schools about the benefits of plant-based nutrition. Gosh, maybe 6 years ago. And then I started on the plant-based charter school about 5 years ago and talking to the school about that. Then I started going to school board meetings. The Meatless Monday actual petition, we only launched on January 1st of this past year. I've done events to promote plant-based nutrition for several years, including one just on May 5th that had a great turnout. But I mean, I've been plant-based for almost 18 years, 100% vegan for the last 8 years. So it all kind of evolves. You do a little bit here and there, and you just get more and more into it, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, I know for me, I started plant-based. I didn't want to be a vegan at all. I thought vegans were crazy. And then about 6 months into my plant-based journey, I do animal rescue and I've worked within the pet industry. And I was at the grocery store about 6 months in and walking by the meat department to go to another department. And I literally stopped in my tracks and I thought, you have been so out of alignment here. You're rescuing animals on the one hand, you're eating them, and you're supporting that industry on the other hand. And it was in that moment that I said, I'm vegan. And once I identified as vegan, a lot changed for me, which the main thing that changed is I can never go back. Where I think that before somebody identifies as vegan, often they've got that wiggle room. So right. For you, it's been 8 years as a vegan and you've got an 8-year-old daughter. Did that have anything to do with it?
Oh, absolutely. She was such a godsend to me as I was nursing her. I mean, like I said, I was 19 when I first went vegan, and it was for a couple years. Now I come from a family of hunter and butchers. My brother shot a deer at 14, cut the heart out, ate it while it was still pumping. A lot of butcher shops in my family. They would always slaughter animals in our back barn. So when I first went vegan at 19, my family would say, like, who washed your brain? Who washed your brain? You used to love the chicken. And I'm like, first of all, it's brainwashed. And I did struggle with that. I was living, my family's from Italy. That's where the accent is. But then I moved to Italy as well. And I struggled with it. I felt like this just seems so abnormal because we grew up eating these animals, and I thought they were put here for us to eat. And then when, so I'd go back and forth, and then I moved to India, and they're like, no, cow is sacred here. Cow is sacred here. And then you learn, like, they're the largest exporter of beef in the world. And you see the cows with these things on their udders so the baby can't drink. And then finally, when my daughter was born, I was nursing her, and I was like, you know what? Forget this. Like, I don't care that people think I'm crazy. Like, that's fine now. Like, cause I know it's the right thing. A mother is a mother is a mother is a mother. And I don't ever want to be part of that. I myself lost my mom when I was 4 years old. So I felt so fortunate and so blessed that I could hold my daughter and nurse her with no one trying to take her away. And I never wanted to be part of that suffering again. And so, you know, I still on this campaign trail have a lot of people that are like, I love your platform over here, but drop the plant-based thing. I'm like, it's all or nothing with me. And this is definitely a major focal point to increase nutrition for kids and the benefits of this.
I love what you're saying about really staying aligned with what your mission is, because I actually recently had a conversation with somebody about my writing, and they said, you don't want to keep writing about that vegan stuff, do you? And it's like, yeah. And then I actually talked to somebody who has a speakers bureau. I've been a professional speaker for 28 years. And she said, I would love to represent you, but you don't want to talk about that vegan stuff. It's like, actually, yes, I do. And I said, well, let me give it some thought. And I already knew what my answer was going to be. It's like, I can't work with somebody who prevents me or wants me to not talk about what my truth is. And amazingly enough, I just recently met a Speakers Bureau representative, an agent who is vegan, and she will only represent vegans. And I'm like, yes.
Oh,
so
cool.
I really appreciate that you're so aligned with that. And I want to remind people that this is Kathleen Gage. You're listening to the Plant-Based Eating for Health show. And I am talking with Maria Solanki. And Maria is running for District 7 School Board in, again,
Pinellas County. Pinellas County, that's in St. Pete, Florida.
Okay. And how can people reach you if they want more information about your campaign, or they want to donate to your campaign, or they just want to find out more about how you got involved? If you could share with people how to reach you.
Yes, mariaforstudents.com. So mariaforstudents.com, whether you use the number 4 or you spell it out, FOR, it's the same thing.
Perfect. And I love that you have it in the background there. So people that are watching, you can just look on the background and you've got the URL. For the rest of you, go to mariaforstudents.com. Now, as a businesswoman who has an 8-year-old daughter who is moving into the political arena, what are you hoping to impact with your political platform?
Well, I have 2 things that I'm really focused on. There are many other issues I will get to once I am elected, but school choice is a huge platform for me. I believe, just because of a person's zip code and what house they can afford, they shouldn't have to go to that school. If they want to go to another school, we need to be open to that. And here we have 11 of the lowest performing schools, all high minority attendance. And it's like, what is going on here? We need to help these kids. And then the second thing is obviously nutrition. And it's not just about, veganism. It's about providing high quality nutrition to children. Ketchup, French fries, potato chips, pop, all of that is vegan. It needs to be out of school. Schools need to be a place of excellency. If parents want to give their kids ice cream, vegan ice cream or not, that needs to happen outside of school. We need to get rid of the cookies. We need to get rid of all the sugary snacks from schools, and that needs to happen at home. so many of these kids are on the meal programs,
Right.
and they depend on this. So we need to give high nutrient dense food.
Well, it really amazes me how integrated corporate America and big pharma and the healthcare system are really integrated into the school food program, because there's big money in that, and there are people that they're going to fight you every inch of the way. And I know that.
Yep.
How do you propose to bring people on board? What are your grassroots efforts going to be? And where do you see yourself once you get elected? Where do you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years down the road? What is your vision?
I think just knowing that for families, like we're giving them the information about nutrition. Okay. So it's not about necessarily taking options away, because Meatless Monday actually sounds negative. Meatless, a negative thing. We're really just saying, don't eat chicken, cow, or pig. Okay. There's so many other options. There's all these legumes that children can eat. When they can taste the food, they can see it. When we provide them the medical facts that 1 out of every 3 people diagnosed with diabetes is a child, that here in the state of Florida, nearly 20% of children are obese, and that number increases when they are a minority. I mean, we really need to just stick to the facts here. We can't think that a pill the size of our pinky can cure us, but this whole plate of food has nothing to do with our performance. When we have sports players that will go to a plant-based diet to dribble a basketball, throw a football, but yet we want our kids to get math test scores and reading scores, we need to fuel them with the proper nutrition. And just giving families that information here. I mean, I've tried reaching out to organizations for years, and they're like, not a top priority, not a top priority. Now that I'm elected, or sorry, now that I'm running.
No, let's put it in the future. We're future pacing
Yes.
this. I'm an NLP practitioner, so
All right.
future pace this.
Now that I'm elected, people are calling me for interviews and they want to hear. So I've been reaching out to PCRM, and I've been working with Dr. Campbell of putting out this information to them. I had arthritis for my entire life. I was paralyzed at 2 years old. My elbow could not straighten more than this. And when I gave up dairy 100%, all that arthritis went away. So for me, it's like, how can I do this to another child? We know that 70% of African Americans are lactose intolerant.
Mhm.
How can I do this? I can't. So it really needs to be a focal point. We see, so where do I see this going? One, having outreach after school programs as well for the students, for the parents, taste testing, cooking demos, more videos. So everyone in the community can learn, not just the kids, talking about the benefits of a plant-based diet in school. Because right now, the National School Lunch Program prohibits you from discussing the discriminating against the drinking of cow's milk before school, after school, on school grounds, or at any school-sponsored event. And that is controlled by the USDA. So we need to bring attention to this claw that the dairy lobbyist has. And I really think this is going to wake people up eventually. They're going to be woken up and they say like, whoa, how did this happen that the dairy industry did this? How? The largest consumer of pharmaceuticals is the animal industry. They are pumping these animals with all these drugs, which then we give to our children to consume. And then we have these diseases that usually don't hit people to the 70s or 80s, hitting kindergarten and second graders.
I really appreciate what you're saying, because I get so frustrated when I go to the grocery store and I see families that it's not generational. It's what's on the end of their fork. It's what's in their grocery cart. And I'm seeing toddlers who are already obese. And
Yes.
I just read an article that it starts with the mother when she's breastfeeding and what she's consuming that's going into the child, because they build up a resistance to certain things, and they build up a craving for other things like sugar, for example. And you mentioned about 20% of children are obese. And I know when I grew up, I'm going to be 68 next month. And I am in amazing health, and I directly relate it to my choice of foods, which is plant-based eating, vegan. And yet I look at these children that when I was that age, we used to go out and ride our bikes all day long. We'd go to the park, we'd play, and it's not happening, and they're not being given a fair shake in life. So I so appreciate what you're doing, Maria. I really do. Now, when you educate people, there's three primary areas that we can educate people about plant-based eating. One is health, which for some people, that's going to push their buttons. That's going to be what gets them to take action. For other people, it's the animals. And yet a lot of people could care less about that. I mean, I think sometimes we get in our little communities and we get pretty jaded by the fact that we think everybody cares about the animals, but they don't. I mean, it's pretty evident. And then there's the environment. So as you grow your platform, do you see yourself going outside of the school lunch system or the school food system into environmental issues, into animal issues? What is the whole platform that you stand on?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing right now is on nutrition, because that is the top priority, the immediate priority. We need to get these kids healthy. We need to improve attendance. We need to improve behavior. We need to have these kids healthy so when they graduate, they don't get stuck in the hospital, that they can go to college or they can get a job and perform their duties. But of course, like you said, there are ethical benefits to being vegan. There are environmental benefits to being vegan. So whoever wants to hear that information, we can. I mean, the number one cause, I'm sure you know, of rainforest deforestation is the animal agriculture business. So I've seen on the campaigns in the past, those questions come up of how you will help protect the environment. And it's amazing. Like, you know, people are talking about recycling paper still. Like, what year is this? You know, or I definitely see that we need to explain this to people because we need the rainforest. All right. I'm under the impression like, okay, great. I understand people think we can't stop climate change and the world will just end or adapt. Fine. But I won't even argue that point. Okay. But let's enjoy what we have. The rainforest still has so many plants that we don't know what diseases it could cure. So we still need the oxygen while we're here. So let's use that. Let's take care of it while we're here. Okay. We don't have to be extremists. Just change what's on your plate. Just change what's on your plate.
You made a great point about we still need the oxygen. And when you look at, you know, a lot of what's going on in the world right now, like with COVID, and it's about respiratory, it's about breathing in, it's about taking in life. And we are literally killing the life. We're taking the life out of ourselves. And I'm curious, when is your the election? When does it take place?
August 23rd is the final election. There will be no runoff. Yes.
So if you could wave a magic wand and people could help you so that you have the financial means, you have the resources, the people resources to help you get elected, what is it that you need? You tell us exactly what you need and how people can make those contributions.
Yes. Well, if they go to the website, mariaforstudents.com, they can donate, and that will help us just get the word out. It's all about name recognition. People forsake school board elections all the time because I don't know, school board members haven't done anything for like a long time, but I am there to work and put these great ideas into place. So go there to donate. You have to be a U.S. citizen. If you're here locally, obviously vote and then help me door knock. But then we can take volunteers to phone bank. You can phone bank anywhere in the world as long as you are a U.S. citizen. And then social media. I would love if someone could help us with digital marketing, or even if you're not an expert on it, just join different groups in the area and keep sharing in different groups here. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you know, all of it. So just get in touch and we'll get a job for you.
Well, I do have an idea for you. And I'm a marketer and I can't help. I do these downloads. It's like, oh, what about this? What about this? There are actually vegan run plant-based food companies. Like I actually interviewed a woman out of the Seattle market who has Rebellious Foods, and It's actually chicken nuggets. Now, like she said, she goes, it's not quite whole food, but it is plant-based, and she is vegan. And her initiatives are to get into the school system. So my recommendation is that people that are listening, if you have a plant-based food company and you are truly committed to the plant-based movement, the vegan movement, reach out to Maria and see if there's anything you can do to help her. Maria, I would recommend that you have somebody on your team go through and put a list together of all the plant-based companies that have initiatives that are about better nutrition in the school systems, and reach out to them. And they may be able to post something on their website. They may be able to share on social media, but there's, it's really about collaboration. And that leads into my next question. Before I ask it, I want to remind people, you are listening to the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show. I'm your host, Kathleen Gage, and I'm talking with Maria Solanki. She is with mariaforstudents.com, mariaforstudents.com. I encourage you, go to her website, see what she's up to, because she is a force to be reckoned with. She's a young lady compared to my age, definitely, and she's got a future ahead of her that is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So, Maria, with that, if somebody came to you, a parent came to you and said, I really want to feed my children healthier meals, what are 3 ways that they can start that process? And then I have a follow-up question.
One thing that we've started in our family is really incorporating more fruit. So forget about all those packaged snacks. Just go straight to fruit. It makes your life easier, right? Because now you're not like cooking things. You're not looking for recipes, but just get your kids really interested into raw fruits. Have that as your go-to snack and try out all different fruits. I mean, go to the Asian markets, go anywhere, get some custard apples, some jackfruit. Don't just stick to the apples, banana, and grapes. That has been one of my favorite things. Make a list of raw things that you like, and whether that's nuts, whether that's carrots, I think that is a huge thing. And then, find your favorite recipes that you already love, and let's see how can we make those healthier, maybe using less oil, maybe skipping out the cheese, maybe substituting rice for quinoa or rice for cauliflower rice. Just makes little simple changes in there. But I'm telling you, we have to get into them. We ran a vegan restaurant in New Delhi, India, and a mom came in. I swear her baby was probably 10 months old. I'll say 1 year at the oldest. And she's like, do you have any food for babies? I'm like, well, we have a lot of organic fruits. We can make you a smoothie with banana, mango, pineapple, and spinach. And she's like, no, I want some real food. She ended up ordering French fries. All right. Like French fries was real food. And I hear this all the time. Like people don't view fruit as real food. So changing that mindset that fruit is real food.
Okay, so we've got have ready-to-eat fruit, the raw fruit, and have it easy to access. That's one. Look at some recipes, and then the third one was educate yourself, become aware, and really understand what it means to have real food. Because when you look at it, I was thinking about this just this morning, how food manufacturers pay millions of dollars to have spokespeople for the pizza companies, the cheese companies, the milk companies. They pay millions upon millions of dollars for sponsorship. You don't see vegan companies that are putting that kind of money into celebrities to talk about their foods, because it's apples to oranges, quite seriously. But I really encourage people to educate yourself on what's going on. Now, what can parents do with the school system? You're really on this platform to make changes. What can parents actually do to get involved in the school system to make sure that there's healthier meals? Because we're killing our kids. There's a movie out called They're Trying to Kill Us. Phenomenal movie, but we are killing our kids by the way that we are feeding them. So we've got to wake up. We're at the edge of a cliff and there's no time to wait. So with that,
I think they need to contact their school food districts, which is what I did. And we kept pushing and pushing. They eventually added, I think, 9 plant-based items. Now they're not at every school. They technically should be at every school, but parents don't know that. So, be that voice, contact the school and keep saying that you want this. Go to the school board meetings, write to the district, and just try to get a group together doing the same thing. And then run for school board. We need more people running for school board and other political offices just to get this message to the campaign stage. It needs to be a hot topic at every level of candidacy, whether it's governor, whether it's president, whether it's Congress. Why are we giving these subsidies to these companies that are literally killing our children, that are making them sick? So, run for office.
So true. So true. Thank you for that. And in closing, is there anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked you?
I think you've really covered a lot. I really hope people realize how important this is, because a lot of the organizations will start with college students or adults that are sick. We need to start with children. It's amazing how much propaganda and indoctrination is in the curriculum. Just math, science, reading. It's all in there. My daughter would sound out the letter M and there'd be a jug of cow milk on, and it'd have a face of the cow, and she had to put the letter M in. This is at 3-4 years old. Mm-hmm. So it's all throughout. So I hope families realize, I understand that I am starting in Pinellas County, Florida, and they may not be there, but that is not my intention to stop right here in Pinellas County. I definitely want to use this platform to reach out to other counties across Florida, to the state, and then at a national level to really bring true nutrition to students, so we stop making them sick and then just getting them on drugs once they graduate from school.
I know it's all connected. It's all connected. And another thought that just occurred to me, here's another idea that might help with your campaign, is to actually start posting that you're looking for other politicians and other school board candidates that are vegan and want to change the initiative. Start some Facebook groups and start some groups that way. I don't know if you've already thought of that, but just, right now what I'm noticing is there's so much collaborative effort going on between all different factions of the vegan community. And you always have that small percentage of people that they have their way of saying that you should be vegan. But as a general rule, we all support each other as long as we're truly living an aligned life. Maria, this has been truly, truly delightful. I wish you much success in your campaign, and I will be sure to spread the word through this podcast show. I encourage people, check out mariaforstudents.com. That's mariaforstudents.com. You've been listening to the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show. I'm your host, Kathleen Gage, wishing you a very healthy, vibrant, energized, compassionate life. Have a great day, evening, or middle of the night.
Thank you for your commitment to an ethical life through plant-based food choices. The kind of choices that are kind to your body, the environment, and most of all, animals. Be sure to leave a review and rating of the Plant-Based Eating for Health podcast show.